What would you write if you knew your time was almost up? I mean, really think about it. Today, we're looking at an essay written under the most extreme pressure imaginable. We're diving into the final, incredibly powerful words of the revolutionary Bhagat Singh.
So picture this. You're in a cold prison cell. You know your execution date is set. The clock is ticking. What do you put down on paper? For Bhagat Singh, it wasn't some last-minute plea or a goodbye letter. It was something else entirely.
Yeah, he chose to spend some of his final hours writing about why he was an atheist. Just think about that for a second. It's such a bold, defiant act in the face of death itself. And that's what makes this essay so unforgettable. So let's get into his thinking.
Now, we need to be clear about something right up front. This wasn't some angry rant against religion. Not at all. It was a really thoughtful, honest look at his own beliefs. He was basically inviting us to follow his own journey of questioning absolutely everything.
And really, that journey is the whole story. See, Bhagat Singh didn't just wake up one morning and decide he was an atheist. Nope, it was a long, difficult process of thinking, reading, and reasoning for himself. So let's trace how he got there.
You know, he started out like a lot of us. He was born into a deeply religious family, so for him, believing in God was just normal. It was a given. And that's what makes his final position so interesting. This wasn't him rejecting something he never knew. It was a conscious decision to walk away from his own upbringing.
Of course, he got a lot of flack for his beliefs. People said he was arrogant, that his atheism was just ego talking, maybe a way to get attention. But his response was brilliant. He basically said, look, if this was all about ego, wouldn't I just pretend to believe right now to make my last days easier? The fact that he wouldn't back down, even at the very end, proved his conviction was real.
So, if it wasn't ego, then what was it? Well, to figure that out, he kind of flipped the whole question on its head. Instead of just defending his own atheism, he started to ask, why do people believe in God in the first place? And his answers are a really fascinating look into human psychology.
He basically broke it down to a few key things. He saw belief as a sort of emotional safety net. You know, when life gets scary or overwhelming, the idea of a powerful being watching over you can be a huge comfort. It gives you hope when you feel like you have nothing left.
In this quote, this really hits the nail on the head. This is the core of his argument, that when we feel small and helpless in a big, confusing world, we invent the idea of something all-powerful that we can lean on. It's a psychological crutch that we create to meet our own needs.
He even argued that God was humanity's first try at science. Think about it. Before we understood things like meteorology, we just said a god made it rain. But as we've learned more, as science has progressed, we've found better, more evidence-based explanations for how the world works.
Okay, and this is where the story gets really intense. Because it's one thing to hold these kinds of beliefs when life is going fine, but it is a whole other thing to stick to them when you are literally facing your own death.
This was it, the ultimate test. And he was really honest about how tempting it was to just give in, to find some kind of comfort in religion as the end got closer. I mean, it would have been so easy to just say the words, right? To maybe find a little bit of peace.
But that just wasn't him. For Bhagat Singh, being intellectually honest, being true to what he had reasoned out for himself, was more important than anything. He'd rather face whatever came next with his integrity than live a lie, even for a few moments.
So this brings up that classic question that atheists always get. If you don't believe in God, what stops you from being a terrible person? Well, Singh had a really powerful answer for that, too.
He argued that being a good person doesn't come from some divine rulebook. It comes from inside us. It's about empathy, about community, about working to make life better for each other. It's about doing the right thing because it is the right thing, not because you're scared of some punishment or hoping for a reward.
So when you boil it all down, what's the real message of this incredible piece of writing? It's not just about being an atheist. It's about something so much bigger. It's a tribute to the power and the freedom of the human mind.
This is really his challenge to all of us. Can we think for ourselves? Can we refuse to just believe things blindly? Do we have the courage to question even our most deeply held beliefs? To be honest with ourselves? And to live our lives based on reason, not on fear?
So, in the end, Bhagat Singh's final statement wasn't really about God. It was about courage. The courage to stand for what you believe in based on your own reason, even when it's the hardest thing in the world. He dared to question the biggest idea of all. So, the question for us is, what idea are you brave enough to take a closer look at?